Hey, I didn't even do the countdown. Mm, we're just here
Yeah.
a little earlier than normal because I have an interview to record in just a few minutes with somebody from Australia.
Yeah. And when you're doing interviews with people from Australia, you kind of have to work around the clock.
Yes, so we're going to go early, but we have a lot of questions to get through. Are you ready?
Yes, speed round it.
Okay, let's start with some miscellaneous questions. Have you done a trip report with a family that stayed on property with their dogs? I don't think I have,
Hmm.
but let's add that to the to-do list. Do you have a spreadsheet link to share from Sarah's planning video? Yeah, it's linked in the description and it's pinned in the first comment if you're on YouTube. All right, so we have a lot of general Disney World questions. So let's dive into those.
Okay.
Best private transportation to Disney World that's not crazy expensive. Other than rideshare? Does rideshare
Yeah.
count?
I was going to say rideshare. That's pretty private. Um,
Mm,
they don't meet you or anything, but it's right there at luggage. So it's pretty convenient.
yeah, rideshare, or we partner with Quicksilver and they'll do a grocery stop and help you with your luggage. Best park hopping strategy. This is pretty general.
Start at the park that opens the earliest, hop to the park that's staying open the latest. Um, Pick parks geographically if you can. Animal Kingdom's kind of an outlier there, which isn't make it super convenient, but like you can take the Skyliner between Epcot and Hollywood
Mhm.
Studios. You can take the monorail between Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So think about those things when you're planning it too.
And you can book lightning lanes and pre-book lightning lanes in park
Mhm.
one, and then as soon as you tap in, start booking in two. Best park for arrival day after 2 o'clock.
If you are coming after, was it May 23rd, May 26th? I think it's May 23rd. Water park. If you're
Oh,
staying on property.
that's right. That's a good point because it's a free water park ticket.
Hmm.
Any suggestions for what company to buy combo tickets from in the UK? Would check Mouse
Hmm.
Savers for that
Hmm.
because they have lots of good ticket options. Best place to watch July 5th fire Magic Kingdom fireworks outside the park while will visiting Magic Kingdom resorts be limited? Yes.
Very likely.
Mm.
Um, there you can sometimes watch from where you board the area near where you board the ferry boats. So if you can make it to the Transportation and Ticket Center, there are some spots over there where you can see the fireworks. But actually getting onto the into the resorts, they will limit that on holidays when there's big firework things like that.
Hmm. And we have an article called "Where to Watch Magic Kingdom Fireworks Outside the Park," and that's a good indicator as
Hmm.
well. Just don't plan on going to like Polynesian Beach, which we do list in that article because they'll be strict. Can you list everything new at the end of May? I don't want to miss anything.
Oh my. So all the cool kids summer stuff starts. So you've got a show starting, the new Disney Junior show starting over in Hollywood Studios. You have part of the courtyard will be open. Then you've got a dance party at Magic Kingdom inside a Diamond Horseshoe. You've got Goofy Communicore starting inside of Communicore Hall and Epcot. You've got Bluey and Bingo starting over at Animal Kingdom.
And maybe we'll have Rock and Roller Coaster. We don't know.
Yes, and maybe Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah,
So
I just linked in the comments to our article about what's coming, which lists everything, including end of May stuff. Arriving from France on Sunday at 7 p.m. Mears or Uber family of four. When I first read this comment, I thought it meant France at Epcot.
yeah. For a family of four, you are either going to need a really big. I'm guessing you have luggage for a family of four, a big Uber, or it might be just easier and less expensive to do the mirror shuttle.
Hmm. Wait till after early entry to rent a stroller. Worried about wasting time on a mid-June trip. Well, so their stroller rental is near the front of the park. Like if you're in the park before early entry officially begins, you can get the stroller then. So like if you have a group, if you let's say you have two parents, I would suggest maybe one parent just go ahead to wherever they're stopping people to get in the
Mm-hmm.
park, and then one parent go get rent the stroller and meet up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing. That doesn't waste any time. Lets you get the stroller while you're waiting.
Yeah.
Are towels available to resort guests to use in the water parks? Are they free? They are. And that has changed off and on over the years, but
Mm-hmm.
currently they are free.
Yeah, and you get inside of a shop inside there.
Are there only certain routes open to rides during early entry?
Yes. Like Magic Kingdom, it's only Tomorrowland and Fantasyland.
Yeah, yeah, and like certain paths are closed because certain sections and attractions are closed.
Yeah.
But
And
it's especially noticeable in Magic Kingdom.
yes, and in other parks there are more attractions open, but not everything is open. We do list those out though. We have all the early entry attractions listed on a post.
Going in mid-August with first timers, 2-day park hopper plus tickets, Thursday through Saturday. Which day would you rest and go to the water park? Well, water park's free on your check-in day.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest considering that, just so it's free. And then we have a park picker tool if you would like to figure out the other parks
Yeah.
for your short trip. Where can you find pricing for the pool cabanas? What time to call to book? I would call them and ask their current pricing. It's 407 WDW Play. Do you have a list of shows or recommended shows or parades by park? The only park with parade is Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And then at the other parks, all their major shows, I would say, are definitely worth it at least once. They all have great shows. I mean, except for Animal Kingdom, of course, but Fantasmic is great. Luminous is great, and of course, Happily Ever After, Disney Starlight, and Festival of Fantasy over at Magic Kingdom they're all great.
I was thinking of shows more broadly, though, in terms of like
Mm.
Festival of Lion King, Finding Nemo. If that counts as a
Oh,
show in this case, then those are worth seeing at Animal Kingdom as well.
yes,
Live singing, love it.
yeah.
Any experience using Target 360 for hotel grocery delivery? We're not really Target shoppers, but we do recommend people just use whatever service they're used to using at home.
Yeah.
Fun, relaxing activity for me in my 40s and my mom and mother-in-law in their 70s for Mother's Day. No alcohol. How about a spa?
Spa day, pool day. I guess it kind of depends on how you relax.
Yeah, and if you want something special, you could check into the cabanas that were mentioned earlier. That would
Mm-hmm.
be a nice little upgrade. End of April going into May or May going into June, best time to go.
I'd say end of April going into May.
Yes, like right about now.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I've been wearing a jacket at night. It's been absolutely beautiful right now.
Nice. Good. You're going to need that jacket when we're in San Diego on Sunday. What do you do if your dates overlap special offers?
As long as you're checking in when a special offer is being offered, you're eligible for the offer, even if that offer doesn't extend throughout all your dates. You just need to check in by the date that it starts. So, if you don't currently have a special offer attached to your reservation and you see that there's one out there, you can try to modify your reservation and see if you can apply it. But just keep in mind that the number of rooms offered and the resorts offered is limited. So you may not be able to do exactly the same thing, but if you're flexible, you might be able to snag a really good deal. So just have to check in by the date it starts.
Okay. Magic Kingdom on a private event day, yes or no?
I yeah yes. I mean especially if a park is closing earlier for anything, that park tends to be less busy. So as long as you don't mind missing the nighttime entertainment, if you have a park hopper especially, or if you don't mind doing something different like going to Disney Springs or whatever, having a resort evening, then it can be a great way to experience lower crowds inside of a park.
Okay. Do you know if the Starlight Parade is still happening in May?
Yes, yes, it's not stopping. They just don't release the times as far out as they do for other things happening.
Hmm.
You just might have to wait till closer to your dates to see the actual times for that evening.
Hmm. How early do people start laying up for Magic Kingdom after hours to get in at 7 without a park pass? I think we usually do about 30 minutes early, but other
Yeah, and
people are already there.
yes, it kind of depends on like how you're getting there because the bus you are at, if you are walking, you can get there, a little bit sooner than if you were having to wait for a bus and you're relying on the bus to get you there at a certain time. Like the parking lot where the buses go, I've been on a bus early enough where they haven't even let the buses in yet. So it kind of depends on how you are arriving. But in general, we try to be there no later than 30 minutes before early entry starts.
Halloween party. Should we have a pool day during the day, do another park, or stick to Magic Kingdom all day? It's up to you. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do Magic Kingdom all day personally.
Mm-hmm. No, especially tickets are expensive. The party goes late. If you're used to being able to hang late, it's not such a big a deal. But if you are traveling with anybody who is not used to staying up late or you have little ones, it's a very expensive ticket to be burned out by 10 o'clock at night. Uh,
Mhm.
and you're going to miss out on a lot of the special party stuff. So do whatever you need to do in order to be able to stay there throughout the party.
Any thoughts on soft opening for Big Thunder going April 29th? I think your chances are pretty good.
Hmm. I do too. In fact, I would not be surprised if we don't start seeing more action over there, even in the next week or so.
Hmm. Just don't plan on there being lightning lanes and
Mm-mm,
don't plan on there being specific hours, but it is uh, quite possible. Magic Kingdom more or less busy on mornings with Disney after hours from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. going 5-4. Um, not really a big
mm-mm,
effect. Anything that happens after the hours doesn't really affect the daytime crowds that much. It's only mostly early closures, like 6 p.m. closures. Is Epcot after hours worth it in August, or do in Magic Kingdom the only day with no party? I would do Magic Kingdom.
mm-hmm,
We aren't huge fans of Epcot after hours compared to the others, just because it's hard to get a whole lot done
mm-hmm,
due to the size of the park and the time it takes to get between attractions and how long the um, pre-shows are Guardians. But those crowds at Magic Kingdom, they're going to be perfect. What time should you line up for Fantasmic to get a good seat if you don't have the dining package? Depends when you're going.
yeah, it depends on the time of the year, like how super busy it is, and if there's two shows or one show. So the busier the time of year. If there's only one show, I would push at least 45. If it's a little bit
Hmm.
less busy time of the year, you can shave that down some and not have to be there so early. It depends on how good of a seat you want. If all you care is just to get inside of the theater, you don't have to be there as early.
On a special event day at Hollywood Studios where it closes early, would they still have Fantasmic? I think they're talking specifically about the 6 p.m. closure in June. They will not have
No.
Fantasmic that day.
Mm-mm.
But it is very rare to have these early closures like this, so don't worry about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Africa Trek, what time should I book it for? Um, if you want the coolest temperatures, I would do the first part of the day, but it can interfere with park touring time. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want regular park touring time, like low waits on some of the rides or whatever, then I would book it the Wild Africa Trek later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had like lightning lanes that were booked for those, and you could do a Wild Africa Trek in the morning, I think that would be the best of all worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard negative things about Coronado bus service. Any rope drop experience? Yes. We've stayed there a lot.
Yeah, it does have multiple internal bus stops, but I have never had any issues, and I don't feel as strongly about Coronado bus service as I do Caribbean Beach, for
Hmm.
example.
I
So,
think part of it is that we stay in Grand Casino Tower, and
mhm,
it's usually convenient. It's like the first dropped off, last picked up, depending on where you're going.
Hmm.
So it can feel a little bit easier, I think, in that bus stop.
Yeah, agree.
Staying at Port Orleans Riverside this summer, should we drive or take the buses?
Oh, um, hmm. Definitely want to take the buses if we're going to Magic Kingdom. That one is a no-brainer just because of how convoluted the parking situation is at Magic Kingdom, the extra steps involved. I would probably take Disney transportation for most things, just because it is a little bit easier. But if you really want to drive, it's not too difficult to drive to Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. Those ones aren't too bad.
What I like about Riverside and some others is that you can pull up close to your building a lot of times.
Hmm.
So it can be really convenient just to be able to hop in your car not too far from your hotel room and then drive to the parks from there.
Yeah.
Um, Planning to decorate our room for mom's birthday. I have magnets. Can I use tape too? You can, as long as it doesn't stick too much. So, like scotch tape, painter's tape.
Hmm.
No question, but heads up, the cheer groups have arrived at the values.
um, I You sent me this yesterday. It's honestly, it's okay over here where I'm at, so it doesn't feel too bad. But I'm in a very quiet spot. Somehow I really have lucked out every time I've stayed at All Star Sports to where I end up in a quiet spot.
That is lucky. Um, which has the better pool slide for kids 6 and 8, the Grand Floridian or Polynesian?
Mm, I think they're
Probably,
both.
probably Polynesian, but
Yeah, the Poly's kind of known for its whole pool area. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing for adults too.
we do have a whole article about splash pads at the resort. So if you
Hmm.
want to look at the photos, you can decide which looks best for your kiddos. We're moving on to dining now. Any recommendations for a 7-year-old birthday dinner? Can be Disney Springs, T Rex Cafe.
Yeah. Splitsville, if they like to bowl, they like that kind of thing. That can be
Mm-hmm.
fun. Gives you something to do in addition to just eating.
Mm-hmm. If you could only pick two sit down restaurants whilst at Disney World, which ones?
Oh, uh, like I would pick something like that I would crave that I can't get at home. I like the chopped salad at um, Brown Derby,
Hmm.
and that's not something I can get at home. So I would probably say that one. And what else? What about you?
Well, I would pick Topolino's for most people,
Mm-hmm.
like just as like a good food, good character interactions. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like my odds for being successful at that recommendation are really high. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm partial to California Grill. I like the
Mm-hmm.
food, the fireworks, the views, but I don't like the
Yeah.
price.
Yeah. Same. Same.
Tips for mobile ordering in the parks. I mean, you don't need a lot of tips because it's easy. I
Yeah.
would just check the return times. Some restaurants during
Yes.
some busy times can fill up.
Hmm.
So you can just periodically, say it's if you want lunch, maybe at 10 a.m., you just open it up and see what the return times are. You can always place an order, by the way, for a much later return time.
Yeah.
Um, if there's no wait time in the app at a restaurant, does that mean they aren't doing walk up?
There there should be a list of like restaurants that are available for walk up. Um, and for some of them, it will tell you you're not close enough
Hmm.
to join a walk up. So that's how you know. And then, I mean, you could always go up and ask them as well. If you don't see anything in the app, it does not hurt to ask. Um, but I don't know that there's any tell inside the app other than that explicit walk up list to know.
Hmm. I want to make dining reservations 60 days out, but I'm afraid it will screw up my lightning lane pick 7 days out. Help. So when you go to make lightning lanes, it won't let you make it during dining reservation time. So I do think it's smart to think about this because, for instance, if you want lightning lanes in the morning, then you just need to make sure you don't have dining reservations in the morning
Hmm.
because it will affect it. Tusker House, breakfast or lunch better? Family of 6, including kids 8 and 4-year-old twins. They're both good. I maybe you book the last breakfast
Hmm.
time and you get both.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend. And then you also get time to tour in the morning
Hmm.
when it's still a little bit cooler in Animal Kingdom. Get some breakfast stuff. You'll get a few lunchtime stuff items out there, and yeah, best of both worlds.
But pay breakfast prices.
Hmm.
Is there any way to add dining packages to a room only? I bought tickets separately. Yes, it's called a ticketless package, but you will need to call. What are the restaurants to reserve for the dining plan? First timers ages 12 and 8. Um, we have a list of the best credits for the dining plan
Hmm.
and a spreadsheet, of course. And so I would peruse that list and book the ones that are at the top of the list that also sound interesting to your family. Time to book Cinderella's Royal Table in mid June if wanting to watch fireworks during dinner.
Um, I would say just know that your view of the fireworks is not, since the fireworks are happening right above you primarily and behind the castle. You don't really get like an amazing view, but if you want to do it in what month was this?
June.
June. Fireworks are going to be what, 9:30, 9:45 at night. It's going to be after it gets dark. So I would book a reservation that's 30, 45 minutes before
Hmm.
that.
That's what I was going to say, about 30 or 45. Best out of park restaurant or other to view fireworks with a 4-year-old.
Um, I'm at the Contemporary California Grill. Just know that 4-year-old, that might not be the menu for a 4-year-old. Depends on how your 4-year-old likes to eat. Over at the Polynesian, Ohana can be great. There's not as many spots where you can actually see the fireworks though from a table, just because of the way that that restaurant's designed. I really, really like Narcoossee's, and you can go outside when the fireworks happen, like a deck ish around the outside, so you could step outside to watch the fireworks if you wanted to. And I think the menu is great. Any of the places where you can watch fireworks outside of the park, the just know that those are not going to be the least expensive restaurants if you're going for a table service.
Hmm. You're frozen on my screen, so I don't know if it's my connection. I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
Celebrating 15-year anniversary, Victoria and Albert's or something else.
Am
I
I
mean,
still
that's a good
frozen?
one.
I Victoria and Albert's.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. California Grill we already talked about. That's another good one.
Hmm.
Given the data that you shared about lightning lanes, which 3 lightning lanes should I pre-book at Magic Kingdom? I would look at which rides have same day drops, and if there's same day drops, then I would just wait and don't pre-book that one. How will rides opening back up this summer affect lightning lane strategy?
Well, Big Thunder was a tier one before. It coming back just is going to increase options for people, and it will kind of just depend on which ones you want. So that one's coming back. What else is coming back? That's, oh, Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, and Buzz is, newly
Hmm.
back, I guess.
The ones that are just coming back are going to be probably the most popular. Will they be the most popular 6 months from now? Maybe not, especially like with Buzz. Um, so again, it's just you. I would advise you, if it's a must ride, that's the ones you want to pick, and try to get additional ones same day.
With Big Thunder Mountain being tier 1, would they drop other rides down to tier 2?
No, it's just returning to what it was tier one before. It's returning as a tier one. So I don't anticipate them doing any switching.
Other parks might do more of that switching around, but
Hmm.
Magic Kingdom just has a lot of attractions, so it's not happening there so much. Do Lightning Lane Multipass still get 2-hour grace period? Yes. It's rare that they don't. We just like to put the warning out there that sometimes Disney can take it away. So your
Uh-huh.
grace period's only 15 minutes, but normally it's an hour and 59 minutes after it expires.
Yeah.
Date-based Magic Kingdom ticket, but also staying on site. Do I still get to book Lightning Lane 7 days early? Yeah, your Lightning Lane booking date is depending on if you're on site or off site. That's it.
Hmm.
So if you're on site, it's 7 days. With Big Thunder Lightning Lane being available to book the week, will Big Thunder Lightning Lane be available to book the week out from the 5/3 opening? Assume not, or I assume so, but I'm not
Hmm.
100%. Yeah, I think so. I think there
Hmm.
might have been a slight delay when Buzz reopened, but it should be available then or shortly after.
Yeah.
How to avoid zigzagging across the park going one into the other with lightning lanes? It happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to make the decision, is riding this attraction with a lightning lane more important than not having to cross the park? Now, that is where that 2 hour grace period come in very nicely. It can
Mhm.
make it a little bit easier to not have to do that. But as we said earlier, that is a risk. And you will know quickly into your trip whether or not they are using that 2 hour grace period. But it can make it, yeah, it can make it easier to keep from the zigzagging. TBH.
We have a bunch of DCL questions to wrap us up here. On Disney Cruise Line, do you link your Magic Band at the port? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at the port and they ask for your passport, you can also hand in your Magic Band and they can link it right there. What time do the second shows end on the ships? The shows are about an hour long. So if the show's at 8, 8:15, then usually it ends by 9, 9:15. Port arrival time of 12:45 to 1. Will we have time for a sit-down lunch? It's usually up to 1:30, and so you might also get on the boat before that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a list of items that need to be carried on versus checked on DCL? The only thing that needs to be carried on, I think, are liquids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're bringing beer, wine, that kind of stuff, that goes in your carry-on, which is the opposite of airplanes. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think that you could take liquids on, but that's how Disney Cruise Line or just cruises in general, I think, work. Best Wi-Fi on Disney Cruise. I have a YouTube video about DCL Wi-Fi plus an article. If you would like to read that, there's different levels. There's free. There's a basic level that is for some light scrolling, and then if you want to like stream and do videos and stuff, then you get the highest package, but it's not cheap. Wish and Destiny, deck 2 large porthole or deck 7 midship veranda? This is such a no-brainer to me.
The deck seven midship
Yeah,
veranda.
deck 7 midship veranda is not only going to give you a veranda, but it's going to put you in a deck that is
Mm-hmm.
more convenient to a lot more stuff. And I have stayed deck 2 in a porthole room. The only reason that was worth it was because it was very cheap. Does the show and the dining rotation happen in the same place that you eat? So I think there's confusion because
Uh-huh.
some dining rooms have entertainment. You know, like if you're in a Tiana's themed dining room, Tiana and
Mm-hmm.
a band play there. But the stage shows, the productions are in a theater.
Yes.
S-
But also if you're dining in the same dining room, you don't get the show twice, right?
Right. No.
Okay, so if there's only one night with the show, yes, that show takes place inside the dining room. The other time that you dine in that restaurant, it would just be normal. It's just like a restaurant that's well themed without entertainment.
But if the question is about the nightly like
Uh-huh.
dinner show combo, those happen in separate rooms. So it depends which one you're asking about. Is it bad to skip dining on your cruise?
I mean, I would plan to eat sometime on the cruise.
Yeah, don't skip eating.
Mm-mm.
You can skip dining. I just
Mm-hmm.
I did a mix of both, frankly, on my last cruise. Sometimes I went and had dinner in the pub. Sometimes I went up to the quick service spot, and sometimes I
Mhm.
went to the dining rooms. So you can do whatever you want. April or May cruise, which is our favorite? Not a lot different.
Mm-mm.
Not a lot different. And the last one is sea and land or land and sea.
I would do land and sea because I think the cruises are more relaxing, and I think it's a nice way after busy parks to kind of chill out for a while.
Or if you're Heather, you do land, sea, and then land again.
Yes, you do a sandwich trip.
Except it's land on one coast and then land on the other. Okay. A few comments to mention. I'm having audio issues, so I'm on the camera is on my phone, but I'm operating the questions from my laptop. So forgive if it sounds or looks different. Can you share the Disneyland content creator you recommended recently? That's Magical Tour Guide. Is Caribbean Beach Resort a nice choice? It can be.
Hmm.
Just depends on what's important to you. We have articles and videos about Caribbean Beach to help you decide. I think we would like to have a resort picker tool someday.
Yes, agreed. And also, I think we would like it would make it easier for us to be more confident in is X resort a good choice if Disney made it a little bit easier. Resort categories are important inside of every resort, but it's very important inside of Caribbean Beach. So depending on which resort category you get and which building you get can really make or break whether or not you think it's a good trip. So or a good or a nice resort. It is lovely. It's got a lot to offer. Where you're placed inside the resort can be a big thing though.
Ashley says we have park hoppers and bought tickets to the after hours for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. Should we still buy lightning lanes for the daytime? I mean, the you mean for those two parks, I guess, for Magic
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
Um, eh, I'm, it would not hurt. I mean, if you're going for the truly most frictionless trip, as Shannon would say, frictionless, and you think you might want to ride things more than once, you're going to have favorites. You want to be able to do that. If you had lightning lanes and those after-hour tickets, you could probably see and do everything you wanted once and your favorites multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Kevin says we are a family of 6 and meeting my parents at Disney World. We have the dining plan. If we link our bookings so that we can sit together during table service, does that also link our snack credits and quick service credits? You can't really link your bookings. You can check in together and say that you'd like to be seated, but if you have separate dining reservations, they're separate.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you did book a dining reservation that include them, it has nothing to do with your dining plan. The
No,
dining plan only comes into play when it's time to pay.
yes. So you can make reservations for as many people as you want to when you're making reservations. You don't have to make it for the number of people on your reservation. So you could make one reservation for your whole family, including your parents. And then when, like Shannon said, when it comes time to pay, that's when the dining plan comes into play.
Um, Ingrid says, hot tip, Wailulu's better than Ohana for fireworks views now.
Oh, good to
Mm-hmm.
know, Ingrid.
We do love that.
Uh-huh.
Could make a reservation there to the person that asked that question earlier.
Yep.
Brittany says, we're staying on property at a value resort, and my cousin that lives in the area wants to surprise our kids. She won't be staying on property, but will they let her in the resort and park there and meet up with us in the lobby? Yes, she needs to give your name and or room number or something like that, and then she can just say she's visiting you in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain, Beth says, can you explain how the after 2 o'clock tickets work in relation to other tickets? Can they be mixed with a full day? I assume there's no combo package. No.
Uh-uh.
And if you like, I wouldn't do this. Like, we did the math on this. It's not a great buy unless you genuinely are arriving later and just need a
Mm-hmm.
few hours in the park. I would look at the 4 parks ticket deal.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. I mean, you could buy two totally separate tickets, and then that gets kind of confusing because every time you're having to tell them which ticket you want to use. Yeah, just if you want to be in the park at all, any days during your trip for the whole day, the after 2 o'clock ticket is not your thing.
Yeah. It's not all promos are good for everyone. That one's not good for anybody going earlier in the day.
Mm-mm.
Do you enjoy Skyliner?
Yes. And I don't like heights, and I love the Skyliner.
Yes. I would argue that Heather loves the Skyliner.
Yeah, I I do. It's relaxing. You get to sit. There's a nice breeze.
Hmm.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's great. Heather and I stay on the Skyliner often.
Hmm.
All right, that's the end of the comments. Got through those quickly, which is good because I have to go record with an Aussie. So technical glitches, starting early, whatever. We
We
made it.
we did it. We did it. And you have 8 minutes to spare to get your
Yes.
thoughts together before you have to go do this
Yes,
marathon
I don't know what I'm
recording.
gonna do for the camera and audio setup, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll be here tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what time
Hmm.
because we've got a couple things to
Expo
figure out.
day.
One is Heather's got a Run Disney Expo virtual queue, and
Hmm.
tomorrow is the Rock and Roller Coaster opening announcement, which we would like to be here for, but we're gonna figure it out tomorrow
Yeah.
exactly when that can happen.
Yes.
So thanks for joining today, and we'll see you tomorrow sometime.